What is going on in Tennessee? Kim Caldwell having a lot of problems in Tennessee women's basketball. She was a good coach, had a great record before they hired her from wherever she was coaching. Had a pretty good first year, but this year kind of fell off the track. Now, officially today, lost every player. The entire team transferred out, gone. Everybody on that team is gone. The entire team transferred out. I guess that makes it official that it was in fact a mutiny. What else could you call that? Well, it's been in the news, everybody saw it, but the athletic director, Danny White, that's his name, I think he's keeping her for another year. But now he'll have a chance to give her a brand new roster. Better, might actually like her coaching style better. But they all left. So if you had any questions about that being a mutiny, the answer is yes. Other news around Clemson shaking up their basketball program. All kind of changes. The smaller sports that aren't football, that do bring some revenue, are starting to have real problems with the NIL. And they actually may have it worse than the big boys. I mean, you're going to get some pretty good money playing football, but when it comes to basketball and baseball, it's a whole different animal. But they get paid too throughout all sports. This NIL, someone's going to have to put a handle on it. I wonder how it's going to actually end up. I mean, you can't put it back in a bottle. They'll probably always be able to get paid now. We can't go back to the old days of, amateur status. But they're just probably going to have to break down and call them employees and create some structure.
Teams, I do view it as historic.
Now Hunter will get the Cowboy defender airborne and miss the shot.
In this 2024 game between New Orleans and McNeese State, the indictment says New Orleans guard Sid Quavius Day Hunter agreed to underperform in exchange for thousands of dollars in bribe payments.
Hunter once again. This time he hits the three-pointer.
In an interview with ABC's Will Reeve, Hunter admitted to point shaving.
I make a couple and miss a couple. I was money hungry. That's all it was, money hungry.
David, college basketball players are allowed to make money legitimately by marketing their name, image, and likeness, but the indictment said the bribe payments were more lucrative, ranging from $10,000 to $30,000 per game.
Well, a lot of you aren't old enough to remember what happened to boxing. Some of us codgers remember when boxing was a big... Actually, it was before my time. It was a big thing for my granddad, and my dad would watch boxing and wrestling, but mainly they would watch the boxing. Sonny Liston, they'd get all excited about that. It wouldn't be unusual for them to maybe put a little wager on one of the events. So they weren't against the idea of making a quick buck. But boxing it lost its credibility. It totally lost its credibility. It was big. It was big in the 70s. Muhammad Ali and Frazier was about as big as it got. Maybe it got a resurgence in the 80s with pay-per-view. It's hung around, but it's not considered a major sport. It's kind of like jazz music. It's probably never going to go away, but it had its moment, and that moment's passed. Even though jazz is due for a resurgence, I should say. I like jazz, and I like a good boxing match. But it took itself out of the game because it got too entangled into the syndicate, the crime syndicate, Vegas, and it got to the point you couldn't trust the result. Too many people taking dives. It was an expression people talked about. Take a dive. I mean, the fact that everybody knew what you meant that it happened, but it was under the level of conversation. You didn't talk about it. Basketball had a lot of problems. Actual problems with point shaving. I had some in the 80s, late 80s. I just showed you an example in 2024. So that certainly hasn't gone away. But is that limited to basketball? Is basketball the only place where that could happen? People act like there's a firewall between football and the real world. You don't think football players could take a dive? You don't think football coaches could take a dive? If a player can make several thousand or whatever a game, certainly so could a football player. So could a football coach. And it could be more than that. There perhaps is no answer for us except to withdraw our emotional support and our money from all sports. Well, hopefully it won't come down to that. Hopefully football will see the light, and hopefully Congress may even get involved, and hopefully we can have honest games and we don't have to ask that question ever again.